Okay, here we go, guys. We're going to dive in. We're doing this in settings view. First up, we've got the, just to let you know, we've got the Tele and the Gibson involved in this. And we've got, actually we've got a deluxe with a JC120 in the wet channel. And we've got a Brit stack, so that's the Plexi with a Supreme in the wet. So what we've got is a low gain deluxe on the neck pickup there. Just going to go to both pickups. All the gain pops up on the guitar. Here's my medium gain. And here's my high gain. We've got the same thing, but the Plexi. So let me just adjust my gain pop. There's my low gain. There's my medium gain. And there's my high gain on the back pickup. Now, why have I got both the amps? Well, they're both really good at receiving effects. They're great pedal platform amps. So what we're going to do now is signal chain. We've got before this here in the HX effects, we've got a noise gate and we've got a compressor. Then we've got our amp, we've got our EQs. So what I've done is I've put at the front of the chain an effects block. In this case we've got an auto wire. Let's just engage that. Let's come down here. I've put in another effects block here. We've got it set up for choruses at the moment. We've got the chorus block already set there to go. So there's 3 effects blocks. And then we've got our actual effects block 3, which I've got here down at the end of the reverb. So what we're going to do, here's an auto wire if you just strum it, but you wouldn't just strum an auto wire. What you do is you stick on a little bit of reverb and you give it. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to come back down here. Actually, what reverb's that? Let's put that on spring, no, plate. Now let's go down to this auto wire. We've got our effects level, so let's just bump that a little bit. Let's just bump our depth a bit. Let's go to medium gain. Now, bear me 1 second. Let's just come out of here. I just want to check we are in the deluxe. Yep. So I just turned up my volume pot and I'm coming onto the bridge pickup. Go up. Now, within the auto wire, you've got your band filter. You've got the low pass filter. And then you've got the high pass filter, which is a lot thinner. Let's go to a clean amp. And obviously you can set your rate. I'm not going to deep dive into each of the parameters. I'm just going to show you what's what and what you've got to play with. You've got a frequency and a resonance here. I am going to do a separate deep dive into all of these effects. So what we're going to do now is, now we've seen the auto wire, let's just come over here and have a little look at what we've put on the reverb. Now, in this instance, I'm using a rotary. We're going to move this block around now. And how I've got it there is that it's my reverb. Okay, so it's my overspill. But if I was to bring that over here and let's turn down our direct signal. Let's turn up our direct signal to the reverb. Now I've got my my modulation either side of my ears. Let me take the reverb off. Now if I disengage the wet channel, which is this channel here, you can see I'm nice and clean. So I've always got my clean running through there. Now let's take this and place it at the end of the amp. Now in here you've got obviously various parameters, but you can assign controls to flick this between the fast and the slow. And you can affect your rise time, your slow rate, sorry. So let's get our slow rate to just go a bit slower. We have our rise time, our fall time, and then we have our mic distances, and we have the rotator horn. You can kind of, which ear you hear more of, and you've got your drive. So if we just sort that reverb out. We don't want all that signal coming through. Okay, that's enough, it's nice and low. Right, so that's what it sounds like after the amp. Let's put it before the amp. Go turn up the drive. Let's go maximum drive. We'll place it behind the amp in a second. What we're going to do though is going to come back here and we're just going to watch our level. I'm just going to dial that back. So full drive. But let's just pull that back into the middle. Let's leave that guy there for a minute now. What are we on? Let's have a little look at, whilst we're in the rotary there. Let's go back, see what's at the end here. And we'll start this one from the end. So here we've got vibrato. And you've got two pages of controls there. If we bring through our direct mix, we get more of our effect because the modulations are playing off our dry signal. And we can affect our depth, our rate, our colour in this one. Let's just bring that colour up so we can see what happens. So actually with the colour up that high, I would either, if with the depth like that, bring down the rate. Both pickups now. Okay, let's bring that depth down, colour there. And next one is Tremolo. Now in this one we obviously have the usual controls, the waveform and the depth being the first. So let's keep it on full depth at the moment and go to the softest waveform. On page 2, you've got your trigger that you can assign. And you can affect the speed of this, or various parameters you can affect. What we're going to do is just go completely wet for a second. And we're going to change the waveform. This is also a great one to put into reverbs. So if we grab this and just chuck him in the reverb, let's get all our dry signal coming through. Well, not all of it, but some of it. Lovely. Now if we were to turn that off, you'll just get the trem. But it's actually quite nice to bring some of that in. So if you brought that in full mix, for example, you still get your reverb in there. Really good fun if you put the reverb before the amp, but we're going to do that in a separate session. So yeah, let's put you back at the end here. We've got touch wire now. Not a big fan of touch wire myself. Frequency up. You know, actually in some ways it's better than an auto wire, because at least it's just active when you strike rather than just constantly going. Thing with that is you can use the modulation of an auto wire. Something to flag is if you do turn up your resonance, turn down your effect level. Now let's just look at this decay. Let's turn the polarity down. See, that can be quite nice also if you stick that in your stereos. But I'd want to look at the delay I've got on there. It might be too much in stereo. Might be better in mono. But it's a nice... Yeah, I'm warming to it. So anyway, let's put that back on up. Let's turn off those delays. That's completely dry. It's better with a bit of reverb. So you've got that in low pass. Let me just check if... Just going to bring that level back a bit. Okay, so we got a flavour of what touch wire is doing. I think we're more interested in the other modulations, aren't we? Right, so we've done the rotary. Now, with the ring modulator, this can be used to great effect in reverbs. What I'm going to do for the minute, I'm just going to place it back of the amp here. I just want to show you something. What we're going to do, we've got a direct mix in. Let's just turn that down a touch. Now, when we do the deep dive into the ring modulator, I'm going to show you a few tricks. We're going to keep it intelligent. I'm going to bring my frequency down. And what happens is it starts to modulate, a bit like a trem. And if you bring your rate all the way down, it'll change rhythmically within what you're playing, a bit more dynamically than a tremolo. So let's put that over here in the reverb, and what we're going to do is we're going to take all our direct mix out, turn the effect up just to really exaggerate it, turn that on. Well, I need to turn this up, don't I? I've turned it down for us today. take that out of the reverb. Bring in our direct signal. Just put a compressor on it. So, as I say, we're going to experiment with more when we deep dive into it. We're just showing you what the modulations are. Right, we've got a pitch shifter. Could be a modulation, but it's not. Phaser. Now we've got prime phaser, which we'll dive into in a minute. First, we're going to look at... We're going to dive into prime first. Now you've got 24 stage, 16 stage, 8 stage and 4 stage. Let's go back up to 24. Just increase our depth so you can hear what we've got. Let's have a little look through the parameters here. Oh, you've got your step rate, you've got biphase here, you've got tri and sine as your waveforms. You've got separations. So here, I've decreased the separation, everything's in the middle. And as I open this up, it opens up the separation. Hopefully you can hear that in your headphones. You've got your high-low cuts, your damping. Let's turn the effect level up. Let's turn that down. What we're going to do is going to go back over here so you can hear the different stages you've got. Turn that reverb back. Okay. You've obviously got, we're not going to deep dive into this, but what we are going to do is go to script now. More familiar. We can stick that before our amp as well. What have I just done? Let's get that there. So go into high gain. Now if I turn the effects off on the stereo channel, we've just got our wet amp but dry. Yeah, so there's your, you know, they make great phasers. Now then. Pan, overtones, you got your octaves. Now your humanizer, technically, you know, it's a modulation. So this plays with the valves if you're not familiar with it. On auto, it just cracks on and does its thing. You can stick it on picking, so it responds to your picking. sorry, that's the wet level. I thought it was. Sorry, I'm being confused. We'll keep the depth up. What we're going to do is we're going to stick it there for a minute, and we're just going to play around with keeping this one where it is. They cancel each other out there. And then if we go the other way, so for example, if you were to put that again in a stereo field, forget where my speakers are at the moment. You can do all of this, just ignore where my speakers are. You just stick them as you do. So if we got that in there, let's engage that. What's going on here? Let's try it there. Go stereo. Depth rate manual. So yeah, you can play around to your little heart's content with different rhythms and harmonies, melodies, whatever. With that, we've got Flanger coming up. So let's just pop that before the amp for a second. Now, we've just landed on it, we've not dialed it in. Let's keep our rate where it is. Let's pull that depth back. Now we can stick it on turbo. Let's go to a cleanup. Let's get our separation on. I'm going to bring in a touch of a direct. Just going to cut this a little bit. I usually like to do a bit of a high cut below the 5K mark and then pull this up above the mud. Actually, fuck it, let's go wet. And what I do want is more, bring that depth back. What we're going to do is you've got try and sine. If you don't know what try and sine is, think of try as being a triangle shape. It's the sine wave shape, so it kind of it's like this, and sine, maybe sine wave isn't the right word for it, but think of it like a sine wave. And sine is a, I can't remember now if that's a square shape or if it's a lot like a, it's a smoother shape, I think. I can't remember. But basically, yes, your try is a bit chunkier when you get things going. Now you've got a step effect in here, so you can change this and do the same as you do with the phaser. And again, things like this work really well if you pop let's pop this bad boy behind that reverb. Let's not have any of that mixed through, but in this case, let's bring those highs up. Engage that. You might do it softer than that. I mean, I've maybe got it a bit harsh. Maybe I do need to pull those highs back. And keep the movement underneath the cymbals, because that's the kind of position of cymbals and hi-hats over there. When you get into your 10, 12Ks, nice to have it down below the vocal, which should be sitting, you know, between 5 and 8K. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. So you can do different things with your phaser. Sorry, not your phaser, your flanger. Flanging, we're flanging. We've got our feedbacker. Let's go now. Classic vibes. Let's stick this at the front of the chain first. So I've got the depth on full there for a moment. Let's pull that back halfway. We're on a medium gain amp. Let's clean that up. Yeah, so you've got very simple parameters there. So you can have it on chorus, or you can have it on vibrato. Let's turn off the reverb so you can hear it. Change it back to the chorus. Yeah, it's lovely. Chuck it behind the amp now. Actually, we'll put you there. Back to the low gain. Okay, now we start on the choruses. So we've got loads of chorus to go through. We've got another chorus over here. Now let's pop this guy back here for the moment. And what we're going to do. So this is just a simple mono chorus. Again, you can have it in tri. You've got your high-low cut, your direct level in. Let's bring the depth up. Take the rate down. Just going to bring that cut in. And bring my level back to about half. Okay. Here's stereo 1. Now with stereo 1 there's a couple of things of interest here. You've got all your usual suspects that you have for your chorus settings, but your dry level is basically your left ear in this situation. So you could bring this in with just one side or t'other. Okay, because it's this ear that modulates against your dry signal. Just going to put the compressor on behind it. Now the thing is, when I get the Tele out, all of these are going to sound a lot wetter than they do at the moment. So let's turn that compressor off. We're now in the stereo 2, which is like a regular old stereo chorus. You've got all your usual suspects here, but in this case, when I turn down my direct, I get left with just the effective signal, which is stereo 2. Now we get dual. So on the effect level 1, you're affecting the left side of what you're hearing, and in effect level 2, you're affecting more of the right side of what you're hearing. In the first 2 pages, you're dealing with effect 1. All the usual suspects are here for your settings, and in the next pages, you're into your 2. Now it's dual, and it's coming at you up the middle. You can switch it into stereo here. Let's bring our dry in. Okay. Now we have prime. This isn't the chorus block, by the way. We're currently in the effects block where there is a chorus effect, where you have all these options. We're going to move into the other chorus in a minute. So you've got your prime, which you'll be familiar with. You can have it in stereo and mono again. Mono is nice because you pop it before the amp. You get the C1. Now, C1 was, if I remember right, this was the pedal that really put Boss on the map, and it's got preamp in it. So let's engage our preamp. We're in the clean amp, remember. Sorry, I was in stereo there. I'm going to keep it in mono for a minute. We're going to turn down the preamp gain. Let's turn it right down. Switch it to stereo. But to do that, we're going to go to the back end of the amp. nice. Like, even no compressors or anything. You're really full in the front of the mix. And it won't surprise you to know that the C1 Vibrato is in here as well. What we're going to do is we're going to take all our dry signal out now. And you can hear what happens. Because you need some of your dry signal in there to modulate, okay? That's for people who aren't used to using choruses. Okay, so now let's move into the big guns. Let's move this guy down to the... let's not be so hasty. Maybe let's leave that there. And then let's get... We've got that guy there. And now we've got the chorus block. Okay, so as with the other one, you have mono. Okay, all the usual suspects in your settings. You've got stereo 1. Okay, you've got stereo 2. You've got dual, which you can have in stereo and mono. What we're going to do now is just going to pause the video, pick up the telly.